Hello everybody, welcome to Awesome Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and drop a like on this video. It only takes 1 second. It makes a massive difference in how the video performs in the YouTube algorithm. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I'm trying to hit 100K by the end of the year, I guess. We'll make that the new goal. So subscribe. 9K away from that goal, and I'd like to have, well, not 2 silver plaques, but 200K channels, because they haven't given me my first silver plaque, but whatever. Today we're going to talk about James Harden and really kind of the Sixers in general. Specifically, I also want to talk about Tyrese Maxey, but I don't know, I just have some thoughts and I didn't feel like they were worthy of a main channel video, so that's exactly what this channel exists for. So James Harden, there's been a lot of hype for him coming into this year in terms of the shape that he is in, the rehab of his injury that was clearly a factor in his decline, and there's a lot of debate as to whether or not James Harden is actually going to be kind of the James Harden of old. So the first thing I would say right out of the gate is that if James Harden was like 2018 James Harden on this Sixers team, suddenly they're moving up a lot of spots in my standings for like most likely to win a championship. Because if you watched my video talking about parity in the NBA and like talent being as good as it's ever been, which by the way, I think you should watch that video because it's one of my better ones in recent memory, but and it didn't do that well. But the Sixers were the only team really that I was like, yeah, I'm going to put them in A-tier contender and not B-tier contender, but they teeter a little bit just because health concerns, and then James Harden's unreliability, Tobias Harris's inconsistency. I love Tyrese Maxey, but you know, how much is he ready to contribute to literally a championship right now? Things like that. The fact that I think they had a decent offseason, but not a great one. All that shit combined comes out to I have some question marks about the Sixers. The biggest one is, of course, James Harden and whether or not he can still play at even close to a superstar level. Now, it's worth mentioning that washed James Harden, quote-unquote, still averages a relatively efficient 20 and 10. So, not a bad player to have on your team by any means, but the eye test definitely doesn't support, it doesn't align with how attractive those numbers appear to be, because when you actually watch the guy play, it can often be hard to watch because he very often would make it obvious that it's just not the same. Whether it be trying to cross someone over and not having the burst anymore, going into a step back and not creating the same space that he used to, or just simply not being aggressive with looking for his shot whatsoever, which is even more perplexing and polarizing, because if there's one thing James Harden's been willing to do throughout his entire career, it's shoot the ball excessively. So for him to not be doing that definitely shows that there is clearly something wrong. Now, the debate as to whether or not that is entirely to be blamed on injury, or just simply the fact that the guy got older, or the fact that he has a changing mentality, or the fact that, you know, he's now the second option, which, by the way, peak James Harden wouldn't be the second option to Joel Embiid. As good as Joel Embiid is as a scorer, peak James Harden is a better offensive player for sure. And that's not a knock on Joel Embiid. That's just how good peak James Harden was. But the fact that he's trying to play more of a complementary role, I guess that could get in his head in a way and make him be more timid. But in general, I just don't know what percentage can be blamed on injury. Apparently, according to him, according to the reports, according to the photos where he looks like he's in fantastic shape, it appears as though that stuff might potentially be a thing of the past, at least to some extent. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I guess I'm not entirely sure what version of James Harden we should be expecting, and what that means for the Sixers, what that means for the league if he does end up being back. You know, I wouldn't project him being back, because what he did what happened with him in the last year and a half or whatever, kind of a hard thing to just overcome and go right back to being that guy. I don't remember what exactly his injury was. I just know it was something that lingered forever and prevented him from really working out in the off season and getting in shape and things like that. It's very clearly not a problem anymore. Very clearly not a hindrance anymore. If he even got 50% of the burst off of the dribble that he used to have back, you know, that would make a world of difference for the Sixers. I mean, if we could see him be a 25-7 or 8 guy instead of a 20-10 guy, and I reduce the assist average there because, one, that many assists is actually not good for a player to average in an offense. It's indicative of too simple of an offense and the ball handler having too many responsibilities. But second, of my whole anti-high assist per game narrative. The other aspect of that is that I think the 10, 11, whatever assists per game, I believe he led the league in assists per game anyways in his with the Nets, something like that. Or maybe it was the year before with the Rockets. Either way, that feels like it's in part like trying to fit in, trying to primarily be a playmaker. Back when he was with Kyrie, Kyrie had that whole quote about, I'll be the shooting guard, you'll be the point guard. And it's like, well, if it's actually peak James Harden, I'd rather peak James Harden be the one scoring more than Kyrie Irving. I'd rather peak James Harden be the one scoring more than Joel Embiid. But if that's how you gotta be, that's how you gotta be. Either way, regardless of talking about shot distribution or who's a better offensive player, one way or the other, if we get a more aggressive James Harden who's able to maintain that efficiency and look more comfortable out there, that's making a world of difference for the 76ers. So I guess that's my take on James Harden opening the year. I don't really have a strong opinion. I imagine he would be better than last year because last year was kind of rough at times. He, again, 20-10 on decent efficiency. Good shit. But there were definitely those games, and I think it especially happened in the playoffs where it's just like, yeah, this shoe's just not the same. And it would happen in a way that was like very clearly affecting the result of the game. And it's like, damn it, if James Harden was just the James Harden we knew, how different things would be. Anyways, next guy I want to talk about, and I guess I said I want to talk about the Sixers. Really, I just want to talk about their backcourt. I fucking love Tyrese Maxey, and I want to make it clear that going into this season, I think Tyrese Maxey is going to play at an all-star level. I won't quite make the all-star prediction because there's a lot of guard depth in the Eastern Conference, one of his teammates being one of them. Although, hot take here, if Tyrese Maxey was better than James Harden this year, that wouldn't be the biggest shock in the world to me. But that just shows how highly I believe in Tyrese Maxey because James Harden is still a top 20 player right now. But if Tyrese Maxey, I think Tyrese Maxey can play at like an all-star level, genuinely. I think he can be a 25 point per game guy. Whether he does that this year being the third option or not, who knows? Although, I don't know, the way they played it last year, it really felt like it was a three-way tie for the second option between Tyrese, Tobias, and James Harden. Not that that's how the offense should be, but how it felt like at times with the Sixers. But if Tyrese Maxey's able to get those more touches and, you know, his three ball has looked good, he's the number one skill that he has as a basketball player is his slashing. But if his jump shot comes along with that, he's already been good. If he can be, you know, good numbers while also increasing that volume, because I believe he shot like 4 threes a game last year, something like that. If he got up to like 6 and was still efficient and then also as good from mid-range as he is, because I believe he's a little bit above league average from mid-range on decent volume, and then a good floating game, and then really, really good slashing, pretty respectable defense, all-around good efficiency, pretty respectable playmaking, not quite elite, but pretty good. Definitely not a hole in his game by any means. And Tyrese Maxey, I think, could be an all-star type guy next year, and I just wanted to put that take out there. So, I don't know. Here's some thoughts on the Sixers. This is what this channel's for. It's just for me talking out loud about shit sometimes. All right, that's it. Goodbye.